My name is Lori Hepner. The name of my unit is Climate Change, and the objective is to have students be able to identify and define key elements of climate change and learn enough information to describe and discuss ways to mitigate and reverse climate change and combat the effects of global warming. I want students to understand that CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere are changing overall in recent decades. We need to understand the way humans are having an effect on the concentration of greenhouse gases and if there are ways to mitigate the effect. My questions to the students will be, can we modify our lifestyles to live lighter on the planet? There are many resources to choose from when you're looking to learn about climate change and global warming. I found many books that I would like to buy and read myself. I hope to find the time to do this before I actually teach a unit on climate change. The students will do a couple activities at the beginning to activate their prior knowledge and get them thinking about the subject of the unit. I will then introduce them to the books we will be using while doing our research and critical thinking. Throughout the field trip, I will have sample questions from formative assessments and the summative assessment, and they will do a carbon footprint activity, which will show how their lifestyles impact the resources on planet Earth. At the end of the field trip, I will introduce the final project of the unit, and in this final project, they will create posters for display at school and in different places around the community to increase awareness of the impact humans are having on planet Earth. We'll take a quick tour here. I will start out. This is my title, Human Impact on Climate Change. How big is your carbon footprint? And I will give the students an introduction here, as you can see. After they read this, I will have them answer some questions just to activate their prior knowledge. I want to know what they already know about climate change and global warming. And my first question will be, what do you think are the three major contributors to global warming and climate change? And then I have a graphic down below that shows the global carbon cycle, and I want them to explain what they know about the global carbon cycle. And they can use this graphic. And I want them to answer if they think more carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere is a good thing, and why or why not. And then I just have a few more questions on that thing. And then I will have them list some ways they think they can, some actions they think they can take to reduce global warming. And as we work our way through the unit, they will be able to answer all these questions with more confidence. We will be studying lots of books. And then there's a website here I will have them click on. And this just takes us, you can get lots of vital signs about the planet. There's different articles, there's different facts, there's lots of things. I'm going to have them choose an article here from this website. And then they will have them write the vocabulary, what is confusing in the article, and what caught their attention, and what do they want to learn more about. And next I'll show a short YouTube video about the human impact on the Earth system. It lasts about 9 minutes. And while they're watching that, I want them to fill in this chart. In the video, it talks about the geosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, and the biosphere. And I want them to write what part of the Earth, of our Earth, relates to each of these four spheres. And I want them to list different ways that humans are impacting each of these spheres. And then I'll have questions for after the video. And after these beginning activities are done, then I'm going to introduce the three books I have chosen for part of the whole unit. This is for the carbon footprint, though, part of the unit. The first one is called Climate Change, the Science of Global Warming and Our Energy. And I chose this book because it introduces students to the basic science of climate change, and it also explains some of the effect that humans are having on the planet, the effect of human activity on the planet. And the question I have is, will global warming will have significant impacts on people and nature? Do you agree with this statement? Why or why not? And then I will introduce my second book, and it is How We Know About What We Know About Our Changing Climate. Scientists and Kids Explore Global Warming. And I like this text because it gives them a science again, but it also gives the kids clarity and hope about our climate. It helps to empower, gives them ideas to empower them with ways to mitigate global warming. And there's my question I will ask, one of the questions I will ask. And the final book I chose is Understanding Weather and Climate. And I chose this book because it has lots of interactive activities. There's a meteorology lab, and it also explains weather with animated tutorials, videos, satellite loops of weather phenomena. I think it'd just be an exciting uh, book that we can use the web to interact with, use the computer. And then after I've introduced the books, we'll go into our first lesson plan. It's one that's called How Big is Your Carbon Footprint? And what this does is there's a calculator on it, and it takes you through, you enter some information about yourself, and it takes you through, it tells you how many acres it takes to support your lifestyle. And it's a fun website. It just tells the kids they can pick a body part, or what they look like, and then how big their house is going to be. And then it'll eventually, it tells how many acres it takes, and what we're going to do is compile that data with the whole class and make a chart that shows how many planets it takes to support the lifestyle that these students are living. After that, we'll do the calculator, after the calculator, then this is just a breakdown of a typical first person's carbon footprint. It's just a picture. And then after the lesson on carbon footprints, I will assign a collaborative activity in which they'll interpret the data, make posters of it, and I'm going to have them display these posters of how many planets it took just to support if everyone did the lifestyle they have, how many planets it takes to support them, and I'll have them display these posters around the school and in the community. And then finally, I have some thought-provoking questions. I want them to tell me 2 new facts they've learned about climate change, and I want them to write if they've learned any new ways to lessen their carbon footprint on planet Earth, and write me a short summary. And then I have my last question will be, think about the carbon footprint calculator activity. Which statistic would you use if you wanted to point out the lack of awareness of the environment? And which statistic would you use if you did not want to alarm the public about global warming? And let's see. I guess I'm excited to teach this unit because I think it's very relevant to everyone's lives. I think students will like learning the science behind climate change, and I think they will appreciate learning ways to lessen their carbon footprint, which will lead to a healthier Earth. I'm a little nervous about teaching this subject because it is controversial. Some people think climate change is real and some people don't. I want to teach the science behind climate change and give students and everyone a way to make a difference. I hope you enjoyed my climate change literary field trip. Maybe you'll be inspired to read some of the books I've chosen so you can learn the science behind climate change yourself and learn ways to lessen your carbon footprint.